after Muhammad was gone, of course they have the new identity. Muslims, Muhammad as a prophet, and these are Muslims, and the religion is Islam. Caliphs take over. Caliphs, caliphs. Caliphs take over the Rashidun Caliphate, the first Caliphate. Rashidun Caliphate, the first one, yeah? Abu Bakr, yeah, you know this. So they take over, and then they left Hijazi, expanded Islam further, and then you have Umayyad Caliphate, and things progress from there. Would you believe, for none of these major building blocks, none of these is the positive corroboration. None. Including in the Quran. You can use the Quran. You won't find pagan Meccan Arabs. You will not. All of this storyline is Mickey Mouse story. None of this is true. None whatsoever is true. Evidence-based. Therefore, no wonder Sahih al-Bukhari was confused. He has at least 3 different versions as to when this was put together. 3 different versions. Do you know how many times the word Mecca even shows up in the Quran?
I don't know if the word Mecca shows up many times.
Do you know how many times it shows up in the Quran?
Not sure.
Once.
Okay.
Once. Who knows where this book was written? Muslim scholars, a gentleman based in the US right now, a Muslim, he's still a Muslim today, and he's a leading scholar on what is called epigraphy, which is essentially studying rock inscriptions.
Yes.
Yeah, and he, based on his research and research of scholars similar to him, do you know, they have established today, based on evidence, thousands and thousands of inscriptions based on evidence. Based on evidence, they have established today that across the Hijazi area, Hijazi, the Arabian Peninsula area, across the Arabian Peninsula area, there was no idolatry. What I'm going to suggest to you today is no. Islam is a typical myth. And that is exactly why Sunnis have their own ideas, Shias have their own ideas. Okay. Sure, Hendrik. So, let's do this again. I'll give you a history insight here. Islam, roughly, if I can give you the storyline, this is the claimed storyline, that Muhammad was born in Mecca. Muhammad was based in Mecca. Qurayshi family, Mecca based. And that in Mecca there were pagan Meccan Arabs. And Muhammad suddenly said, hey, look, I received a revelation in the Hira, in the cave and so on. And then he wanted them all to become Muslim. They didn't like it. They persecuted. And because of the persecution, after a few local tactics, he eventually had to flee, Hijrah, to Medina. In Medina, there was an Ummah, Islamic Ummah, Medinan constitution, Medinan Ummah. All took part in it, but at some stage, Muhammad got upset with the Jews and ended up wiping 3 Jewish tribes. 3 Jewish tribes wiped out in different ways, chased or killed or whatever. And after that, the Muslims now go to Mecca. After many things happen. I'm giving you the bare skeleton. He returns to Mecca. Eventually, takes over Mecca, 632 AD, and then passes away fairly soon after. This is the rough storyline. Would you believe that for none of this major building blocks of the story, for none there exists? And let me add a couple more things. And then after Muhammad was gone, of course they have the new identity. Muslims, Muhammad as a prophet, and these are Muslims, and the religion is Islam. Caliphs take over. Caliphs. Caliphs take over the Rashidun Caliphate, the first Caliphate. Rashidun Caliphate, the first one, yeah? Abu Bakr, yeah, you know this. So they take over, and then they left Hijazi, expanded Islam further, and then you have Umayyad Caliphate, and things progress from there. Would you believe, for none of these major building blocks, none of these is the positive corroboration. None. Including in the Quran. You can use the Quran. You won't find pagan Meccan Arabs. You will not. You will not. Please hear me out and then try and respond. For none of these major building blocks, there is historical positive corroboration. You can use any literature, but contemporary, in some way, shape or form, something which is qualified to talk about these things. you don't find any positive evidence. It doesn't stop there. You actually find plenty of negative evidence, contra evidence, to suggest to us all of this storyline is Mickey Mouse story. None of this is true. None whatsoever is true. Evidence based. In other words, God knows who wrote this book. God knows when it was written. God knows why it was written. And I'm talking about the true God. The true God. Because we clearly know. And therefore, no wonder Sahih al-Bukhari was confused. He has at least 3 different versions as to when this was put together. 3 different versions. One he says Abu Bakr. One he says during the lifetime of Muhammad. It was already written down. And 2 he says no. Abu Bakr wrote it down first time. Brought it down first time. Put it together first time. And then 3rd, Uthman put it together the first time. Which one do you believe? These are contradictory. It can't be all 3.
Writing it down and compiling it is different.
No, I'm talking about writing it down. In one place he says Muhammad wrote it down first.
But Muhammad never wrote it.
But Sahih al-Bukhari says that.
Bukhari said Muhammad wrote it.
Yes, it was. Sahih al-Bukhari says, no, let me be careful. Sahih al-Bukhari says that when Muhammad passed away, it was already a book. Meaning, whoever wrote, I'm not saying who wrote it, but whoever wrote it, it was written already by the time he passed away. In other words, by the time he was passing away, people can say, look, there is a Quran. But later on he says there was no Quran when Abu Bakr was ruling, which is clearly later. Yeah, Abu Bakr was ruling later. But he says when Abu Bakr was ruling, there was no Quran and they had to write it down. And then elsewhere he says, well, when Uthman compiled the Quran, and
This is the most acceptable hadith among Muslims that actually Uthman wrote, compiled.
So you have contradictory accounts. Yeah, but you see the point. So you were a little bit hesitant earlier when I said all of the building blocks. None of the building blocks has positive evidence. All of them have negative evidence. Remember, you had a little bit of his. What do you have any positive evidence or?
What, that there was pagan Arabs that.
Yeah, pagan Meccan Arabs, for example. Yeah, is that what you had in mind? If that's what you had in mind.
I don't see
Yeah.
how there isn't evidence for pagan Arabs.
Pagan Meccan Arab. Pagan Meccan. What evidence have you
Any
got?
clear evidence outside of Quran or Hadith?
Sorry, come again?
I don't know if there's any clear evidence outside of Quran or Hadith.
Use anything, including the Quran. Is there any evidence that the pagan Meccan Arabs?
I don't believe it talks about.
Sorry, come again?
In the Quran, I do believe it mentions pagan Arabs.
Meccan. Pagan Meccan.
Meccan? I don't think it says Meccan.
Mecca, that is important. Because who were the people who chased him away from Mecca?
The pagans.
Pagan Meccan. They are based in Mecca. But if the Quran doesn't talk about any Meccan-based pagan Arabs, then you have an issue.
Well, surely we could assume that it's talking about Meccan.
Where? How could? Do you know how many times the word Mecca even shows up in the Quran?
I don't know if the word Mecca shows up many times.
Do you know how many times it shows up in the
I'm
Quran?
not sure.
Once.
Okay.
Once. Who knows where this book was written?
And it wasn't even written Mecca, it was written Becca.
No, that was another one. So
That was another one.
Yeah,
Okay,
there are
sorry,
two.
yeah.
In one place it uses the word Bakka, Valley of Bakka,
Which is in the
in
area
Jerusalem,
of
going into Jerusalem, and in another place so that is in Mecca. It's Becca, and there is only.
Becca.
What's that?
What does it say Becca?
Why does it?
Where?
Oh, I can get for you if you want. I need to find the reference. But that's not the main story. The main story is what we're talking about, which is very simply that for pagan Meccan Arabs, there's no evidence whatsoever, even in the Quran.
But
So basically what you're saying is that the Quran could be generated in a different area with different
Exactly.
events.
For all that we know, this could be Los Angeles. I'm joking, of course, not
Yeah,
Los
yeah.
Angeles. Some Arab, some maybe
Definitely
somewhere.
not Los Angeles.
Not Los. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly. Good
yeah,
point.
So, yeah.
And I'll say one more thing. Quite damaging. Remember, I said no positive evidence. I'll tell you negative evidence. Today, there are leading Muslim scholars. A gentleman based in the US right now, a Muslim. He's still a Muslim today. And he's a leading scholar on what is called epigraphy, which is essentially studying rock inscriptions.
Yes.
Yeah, and he, based on his research and research of scholars similar to him, do you know they have established today, based on evidence, thousands and thousands of inscriptions based on evidence. Based on evidence, they have established today that across the Hijazi area, you know, Hijazi, the Arabian Peninsula area, across the Arabian Peninsula area, there was no idolatry for at the least 2 centuries before Muhammad is supposed to have arrived. At least for 2 centuries, idolatry had gone. They know, they have evidence for the fact of idolatry pre that time. Before that time, there was idolatry. But based on our...
It's mentioned in the Quran, like when Muhammad was giving his teachings, you know, Arabs, they were saying, oh, he's saying what our father is saying. So it's, you know, it makes...
Yes, because they still believe in Allah.
That means that's not
they just
paganism, is it?
they just associate it.
Paganism.
Paganism is
Who
different,
focus on, you know, idolatry. You know, the physical statues
Like an idol.
didn't exist. What are we going to do?
If they,
History, through solid research, and I'll give you, maybe I'll mention right now, but you may not remember. So when you email, I'll give you Dr. Ahmad Al-Jalad. Dr. Ahmad Al-Jalad is a top-notch scholar in this area. Very, very top-notch. And then there are a couple of more. Michael McDonald, Leila Naimi. They have together cataloged thousands of inscriptions from across Hijazi and elsewhere. Solid research tells us there was no idolatry for at the least 2 centuries in some places, and in some places as long as 5 centuries before Muhammad is supposed to have even arrived on the scene.
in the whole of the Arabian Peninsula.
In the whole of Arabian Peninsula, based on evidence. Remember, I said no positive evidence. This is negative evidence.
Bear in mind, Christianity existed at that time almost for 600 years, and Judaism
Exactly.
existed for 1.2k.
And remember, essentially the Quran was interacting with Jews and Christians very, very much.
Yeah, and especially it was mentioning like in the Quran when Muhammad was warning some of his followers, right? Or like he was warning some of the pagans. He was telling them, "Oh, God is gonna, you know, it's gonna like destroy your houses and destroy everything." And it actually talks about a very literal example of very areas close in what we call Jordan now, or the north of Jordan. So why would you give example to people living in southern Hijazi areas in Mecca of different cities who are destroyed by God in Jordan? Like, why would you recite such an example? And you told people, hey, you see it every day. So clearly that you know ayah or that verse is talking to different people, not to Hijazis or Arabs.
Exactly. In other words, my dear friend, this book is a fantasy book. No one, I say,
it's still we could consider it a valuable book. It doesn't mean that.
I'll come to the morality part later. But I consider this deeply immoral based on some specific points. I'll come to that later. Deeply immoral. Very exceptionally immoral. But I'll come to that later. Immoral.
Yes,
anti-moral.
I agree with that.
So no value in that regard.
Valuable doesn't mean something
you
is
mean in
moral.
terms of understanding
No,
history and
we
so
have
on.
to understand a lot of things, right? I mean, to be honest, like I hate the Nazis and I hate to mention them, but I consider Mein Kampf as a valuable book just to
Historical
understand
reasons. Yeah,
the mind of. So I don't mean it's moral.
But do you see what I'm saying, Hendrix? This one, so I would have normally said, good to see you.
Cheers, man.
God's
Thank
blessings.
you so much. Wish you all the best.
Normally I would have said, no one has a clue. Actually, that's not true. I'm writing a book right now based on detailed research and books. This book, there is no evidence to suggest that Islam began in the way people claim it began. There's no evidence to suggest that at all. No evidence whatsoever. No positive evidence.
Why would there be evidence in the middle of a desert? Why would there be evidence?
There better be. Otherwise, you're following blindly.
So you're saying just because there's no
There are 2 points, Hendrix. Number one, if there is no evidence, whether it is desert or elsewhere, if there is no evidence, you're following blindly. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand? Do you like blind belief? Believing something blindly?
No.
No, clearly. So there better be evidence because you want to follow it. So there better be evidence. That's point number one. Point number two, in the middle of the desert, there are thousands of inscriptions. There's much known about the Hijazi. You know, there are evidence all over the place. Evidence all over the place. Like I said, Dr. Ahmad Al-Jalad, Michael McDonald is a scholar who is based in the UK. Michael McDonald. Leila Naimi is a scholar who is based in Europe, who study inscriptions, writings across Hijazi and elsewhere. There are evidence. There are evidence in the Hijazi. So in the middle of desert, you can have evidence. Because there are rocks, it's not all sandy desert. So Islam could have easily, if there are caliphs, that's pretty much like an emperor, yeah. So massively, they not alone had political control, they had religious control. Phenomenal power. There better be proper evidence for them. There is none whatsoever.
There's no evidence for caliphs.
No evidence. So for the Rashidun Caliphate, no evidence.
Wow. I'll have to do research.
Please, when you do research, don't give into a claim where they say, oh, look, this is Umar's sword and stuff. Don't give in. You need written, because it could have been any sword that they show today and say this is Muhammad's sword. They can claim anything, yeah. Or sandals, they show sandals, they show, maybe teeth. Don't give in. Because it could have been anyone's teeth. You need written evidence, writings either on, the pre-paper material, parchments and so on, or writings on rocks, which is, archaeology, or other archaeological artifacts. You see what I'm saying? What I'm going to suggest to you today is no. Islam is a typical myth. And that is exactly why Sunnis have their own ideas, Shias have their own ideas. They don't...
That's also the same with almost any belief. Like, different Christians have different ideas, different Hindu have different ideas.
No different Christians have different ideas in relation to the history of Jesus, no.
In the history of Jesus, the Ebionites...
Come again?
The Ebionites and the Nazarenes.
Is there any evidence for the Ebionites?
For the Ebionites? For the Nazarenes there is.
No, Ebionites, is there any evidence?
I'm not sure if there's evidence for Ebionites.
No, these are figments of imagination from later times. Don't give in, please. Hendricks, if you remember one word from here, you know what that word should be? Evidence. Evidence. Anyone can tell you any story. Look, I told you a story, yeah? I told you, for instance, that idolatry didn't exist. I told that. It's a claim. To back it up, what did I do? I pointed out to research scholars, Dr. Ahmad Al-Jalad, Leila Naimi, Michael McDonald. And I pointed out to the research area, rock inscriptions across Hijazi. When you email, I can pass to you specific links, for example, of YouTube videos or research articles, if you like, which show this. It's a solid fact today. Muslims don't learn these things because they don't care about evidence and history much. But you should. Yeah?